Most people you see today are exhausted, anxious, and strangely hollow. They're not tired because life is so demanding. They're tired because they're at war with themselves. They swallow their anger so they won't upset anyone. They hide their ambition so no one calls them arrogant. They deny their desire for money, power, or recognition so they can keep wearing the costume of a good person. They spend their days smiling when they want to roar, nodding when they want to say no, apologizing for simply existing. And then they wonder why they feel weak, invisible, and stuck. That's the life of the 99%. While almost everyone is busy polishing their nice mask, a small minority is playing a completely different game. The 1% are not trying to be pure, they're trying to be complete. They've stopped pretending they're made only of light. They've turned around, walked down into their own basement, and met the part of them the world told them to bury. Story. Jung called it the shadow, the side of you that holds all the traits you're not allowed to show. Most people hear that word and instantly think of evil, violence, cruelty, shameful impulses. So they slam the door shut, bolt it, and stand guard for the rest of their lives. But here's the twist. That locked room doesn't just contain your worst impulses. It also holds your raw power, your drive, your focus, your ability to say no, your hunger to win, your creativity and authority. You're not stuck because you have too much darkness. You're stuck because you've exiled the very forces that would move you forward. The physics of hiding yourself. Imagine holding a huge steel spring and forcing it flat with both hands. That spring is your shadow, your aggression, your sexuality, your ambition, your envy. As long as you keep it pressed down, you have to use constant effort. Your shoulders shake, your arms burn. You can't carry anything else because both hands are dedicated to suppression. That is how most people live. They aren't exhausted from building empires or creating art. They're exhausted from holding themselves down. Now picture someone who stops pushing. They let the spring rise to its natural shape. They study it. They build a frame around it. They learn how to use it as a source of propulsion. Suddenly their hands are free. All that compressed force becomes available. Instead of fighting themselves all day, they can push against the world. That's the unfair advantage of shadow integration. You're no longer burning fuel on internal censorship. You can deploy your full personality in one direction. The nice person problem. There is one particular archetype that perfectly illustrates this. The eternally nice man or woman. They avoid arguments at all costs. They think wanting things for themselves is selfish. They believe anger automatically equals harm. They look harmless, and they are. But harmless is not the same as good. In business, in dating, in negotiations, the eternally nice person loses because they cannot bring any edge to the table. They can't say no to a bad deal, can't confront disrespect, can't protect their time or energy. They want everyone to like them, so they let everyone step over them. The people who rise are different. They can be generous, patient, and loving. But underneath that warmth sits something with teeth. They know they are capable of saying stop, of walking away, of cutting off what is toxic. They have access to their inner beast, and they keep it on a leash, not in a cage. If you want to move into the 1%, you don't need to kill the nice person in you. You need to stop letting them drive the car. What's actually in your shadow? Let's start with aggression. From childhood, you were probably told, don't shout, don't push, be gentle. So you learned to associate aggression with harm. But psychologically, aggression is simply forward-moving energy. It is the surge that breaks through resistance. A sprinter leaving the block, a lawyer tearing apart a weak argument, an artist obsessively reworking a piece until it lands. That relentless push, that's clean aggression. When you suppress it, you don't become peaceful. You become stuck. You hesitate. You procrastinate. You explain your lack of progress with, I'm just not motivated, when in reality, you've strangled the engine of action inside you. High performers don't get rid of aggression. They refine it. They stop using it against people and start using it against problems. Their workouts, their negotiations, their focus sessions all have that sharp, almost predatory quality. They look calm on the outside, but underneath, there's a directed ferocity. If you feel like you have no drive, maybe the issue isn't laziness. Maybe you've cut yourself off from your own fire. Next, look at envy. We grow up believing jealousy is ugly. When that stab of, "Why don't I have that?" hits your stomach, you immediately correct yourself. I should just be happy for them. So, you shove the feeling down. You call yourself ungrateful. You say, "I don't care about money, beauty, status anyway." And in doing so, you throw away a priceless navigation system. Envy is information. You don't envy everyone. You envy very specific people. The friend who just built a thriving business. The stranger with the kind of body you secretly want. The creator whose work you binge watch at 3 a.m. Your shadow is whispering, "That could be you." The 99% turn envy into bitterness. They sneer at the successful. They write hate comments. They comfort themselves with, "It's unfair," and stay exactly where they are. The 1% treat envy like a highlighter pen. Wherever it lands, they pay attention. What skill, what courage, what decision allowed that person to create what I desire? Instead of resenting them, they reverse engineer them. Stop moralizing your envy. Start decoding it. The golden part of the shadow. The basement doesn't just hold your demons. It also holds your excellence. Maybe you were the bright kid who stopped raising their hand because the class turned on you. Maybe you loved being on stage until someone called you full of yourself. Maybe you naturally take charge, but you learned to shrink because you were labeled controlling. To stay safe, you dimmed your own light. You downplayed your ideas. You pretended not to know the answer. You stepped back so others wouldn't feel small. Over time, you forgot that the confidence, creativity, and leadership were ever there. They slid into the shadow along with your rage and jealousy. That's what Jung meant by the golden shadow. The gifts you've rejected in yourself and projected onto your heroes. You don't just admire that musician, that CEO, that speaker. You recognize something of yourself in them, a self you never let come out. As long as you worship them from a distance, your power stays underground. The moment you say, "They're not superhuman, they're a mirror," the game changes. Projection. How you leak your energy. If you refuse to own your shadow, you don't get rid of it. You scatter it. You project your disowned traits onto everyone around you. You rage at greedy people while secretly wanting wealth. You mock vain people while secretly craving to be seen. You despise arrogant people while secretly fantasizing about walking into a room and owning it. Every time you point the finger outward, you send your energy outside of you. You become lighter, more fragile, easier to push around. Integrated people do something different. When someone provokes a huge reaction in them, they pause. Instead of instantly attacking or gossiping, they ask, "What is this showing me about myself? What desire, fear, or trait in me is being poked?" Little by little, they pull those projections back. The more they reclaim, the heavier they become, not in mood, but in presence. They feel like a solid object in the room instead of a feather in the wind. And in any negotiation, relationship, or competition, the one with more presence sets the tone. Stop chasing perfection. Aim for wholeness. The 99% are obsessed with looking flawless. The perfect partner, the perfect employee, the perfect spiritual person. Perfection is fragile. One crack, one failure, one exposed secret, and the whole persona shatters. Wholeness is different. When you know what you're capable of, the generosity and the selfishness, the patience and the fury, you don't have to hide. You can say, "I want to win. I can be sharp. I make mistakes, and I'm still here." People sense this. We instinctively distrust those who pretend to be spotless, but we're drawn to people who are honest about their contradictions and still competent. That mix of vulnerability and power is magnetic. How to start using your shadow. You don't need a PhD to begin this work. You need attention and courage. 1. Track your spikes. For a week, notice every moment when an emotion slams into you. Rage, jealousy, disgust, obsession, admiration. Write it down. Who triggered it? What did they do? Then ask, where is this in me? What part of me wants what they're expressing? 2. Give your shadow a voice. When you identify a trait, your aggression, your hunger for status, your need to be seen, personify it. Imagine sitting across from it at a table. Ask it what it's trying to protect. Often, you'll find it's not trying to ruin your life. It's trying to keep you safe in a clumsy way. 3. Assign it a job. Raw energy rots if it has nowhere to go. Turn it into skill. A lot of buried aggression? Channel it into training, sales, public speaking, negotiation. A lot of vanity? Channel it into building a brand, mastering aesthetics, becoming visible with purpose. A lot of greed? Channel it into building businesses, investing, learning how value and money actually work. The principle is simple. Stop pretending you don't want what you want. Start using that wanting as fuel. You have 2 options. You can keep playing the 99% game, smiling, apologizing, suffocating your instincts, bleeding out your energy in quiet resentment. Or you can choose the harder, more honest path. Integration. That means going down into your own depths, looking your beast in the eye, and saying, I'm done hiding you. I'm going to train you. If this message stung, that's a sign something in you is waking up. Don't put it back to sleep. Make a private contract with yourself right now. Tell yourself out loud or in writing, I claim my shadow. I will use all of me. Then start proving it with how you move, what you say yes to, what you finally say no to, and where you are no longer willing to play small.